Welcome back to the Out of the Rough podcast. My name is Nate with Out of the Rough, and joining me as always is my co-host Jake. Jake, I think I know the answer to this as a back-to-back DP World Tour winner to start the season, but how are we doing this week?
Yeah, we're doing great. It's really hard to hit winners on the DP World Tour. Fortunate to start the season with a two back-to-back winner. Makes the sheet very easy and pleasant to look at every week. But congrats to Jaden Shaper on winning the Alfred Dunhill Championship. He won with the score of 16 under par. The event was shortened to just 54 holes after Saturday was flooded out. So I saw some people on Twitter not so happy about that, giving Jaden Shaper with little asterisks next to it. I don't know what people's problem is, but I'm happy the young guy won. It was pretty interesting down the stretch. I was fortunate to be on both Shaper and Chikara, who held the 36-hole lead. Nate, that night on Sunday, this was the weirdest thing. I've never had this happen before. Three or four times in the middle of the night, like I dreamt that Chikara choked it away, and I was just like, what am I thinking about? Like, just go back to bed. Like, who cares? And I woke up in the morning, and sure enough, Chikara just choked it away. And I was fortunate to just see that Shapper got it done,
Yeah.
but he was in the playoff with Sean Norris, who had a phenomenal Sunday.
hmm
It was a really crazy, playoff there where Shapper put the ball in the bunker, was not in good position at all, hit a miraculous shot out of the bunker where he almost slam dunked it for an albatross, but it rolled out into the fringe and he sunk the putt from the fringe to win with an eagle. So that was his first DP World Tour win. I think we could both agree on the fact that he's a premier talent on the DP World Tour, and without a doubt, in my opinion, he's going to finish in the top 10 and will be on the PGA Tour in 2027.
For sure, the victory, it's been eluded him for years. I mean, I've wasted my fair share of money on Shapper for 2, 3 years now, especially when it comes to very good desert golf player. And of course, that South African correlation with everything along the way. So it's good to see him finally get it done. But yeah, premier talent, and kudos to him for finally getting done in some home soil and getting that win in his column that's eluded him for so long. Yeah, it wasn't the best of weeks for me. I think John Perry was my best option. I think he finished like seventh, like or anything like that. There were some people like Brandon Robinson Thompson had a decent, I think it was Friday, that got himself into contention slightly. I think he was like two or three back at the time. And then once that Sunday came around, everything was just different. He had to take a day off and really fell apart for most of my guys in the card there. But that's neither here nor there. We got one more week on the calendar year with some golf. DP World Tour concludes its fall swing, or excuse me, not fall swing, opening swing this week. And if, again, the calendar year then will be off for, what is it, 3 weeks before the Dubai Invitational. I think the 15th of January is when that one kicks off, that same week as Sony, I believe.
Yep.
So we'll have a few week hiatus. We have some content for the podcast planned before then. But this week, the AfrAsia Mauritius Open to conclude the calendar year and roll ourselves into 2026. But before we do hop into things, Jake, we'll be finding on social media.
Yep, you can find me on X at JakeOOTR, where I post all my outright betting cards. Be sure to give me a follow there. Also, join the Out of the Rough Discord. It's completely free to join with no hidden paywalls. We have a community of 250 plus members, ranging from golf fanatics to professional gamblers. Everyone brings and insight, making the Discord a really good resource to have at your fingertips for no cost whatsoever. Nate runs a channel in the Discord called the Community Wager Tracker, where he accumulates everyone's picks for the weeks and organizes it into a list so we could see who everyone is on, and ultimately congratulate everyone who has hit a winner. Nate also runs, oh, sorry, double counting there, but you can reach out to Nate or myself to get the link to join that. It's completely free again. Also, be sure to check out ootrough.com for our weekly articles. Nate covers almost every tour in there, and I'll be back to posting my PGA Tour articles starting in January. On the site, Nate also has Shots Gained Putting by Grass Type, another completely free resource to have at your fingertip. So definitely worth checking out the website as well.
For sure, back to the Discord, along with everything Jake talked about, we also offer some exclusive content there. My first round leaders, Jake's matchups along the way, and again, just a great finger or tool to have at your fingertips, free, completely free of charge. And it's not just us in there; there's a lot of great and knowledgeable people who can help you across our finish line as well. The website as well, you can find Andrew's content when the Corn Ferry Tour and Hotel Planet Tour rolls around. One of the most brilliant minds when it comes to those feeder tours. He knows those tournaments and those tours through and through. He has a 2026 Corn Ferry Tour preview on there right now. And again, everything that we have on that website is completely free to charge. You can find the one and done as well for both DP World Tour and PGA Tour. All of that's on there as well. Follow myself, Nate, on X at NateOOTR. Be sure to follow Out of the Rough on all forms of social media, various handles. Just search Out of the Rough, you'll find us there. And yeah, I think at this point, if you're not part of the newsletter as well, excuse me, the newsletter, weekly we send out an email newsletter where I compile everything we have to offer for the week, from articles to podcasts to, uh, uh, the website links, everything you can think of exclusive to the newsletter. We also have the, uh, on the PJ Tour at least, the events placement chart, the event
Yes.
respective to the week of the PJ Tour. That's a free tool all exclusive to the newsletter. So if you're looking for that, hit me up with a good email and we'll get you on that as well. All right. With the introduction behind us, let's roll into the content for the week. The Afra or AfrAsia Bank Mauritius Open, excuse
Yep.
me. This event was first played in 2015, and this year marks the ninth playing. Last year, this is a bit of a nomadic event, was played at the Mont Choise Le Golf for the second time, but this year we returned to the Heritage La Reserve Golf Links. The last time we saw this course was 2023 when Luis Oosthuizen won here, and surprisingly, this is a Luis Oosthuizen design. So the guy designed the golf course, plays the tournament, and wins it. Kind of weird if you ask me, but it's neither here nor there at this point. We've seen the Heritage, like the golf club, where the Reserve Golf Links belongs to, but the Le Chateau golf course at that Heritage hosted in 2015, 17, and 19. So, although if you do look it up, it'll say the Heritage hosted on 5 times now, but it's different golf courses within that golf club. But yeah, previously mentioned, this is the final event of the DP World Tour opening swing in calendar year, and is co-sanctioned between the DP World Tour and the Sunshine Tour. With this placement of this tournament and the schedule, along with being held in Mauritius, this is one of the weaker fields we'll see on the DP World Tour all season from top to bottom, along with being a co-sanctioned event. But either way, we do have some decent names. Jaden Schapper himself is back this week after winning his first time on the Alfred Dunhill Championship, looking to make it back to back. We have Ryan Gerard of the PGA Tour teaming up this week, along with DP World Tour winners of 2025, Daniel Brown, Eugenia Shakara, Dylan Nadu, John Perry and Riggs Johnson. Some other notable names: you have Angel Aurora, Jacob Scovalasson, Alex Fitzpatrick, Christo Lampret, among others. Speaking of John Perry, defending champion, comes into this week where he edged both Nadeau and Lampret by 2 strokes to claim his second DP World title in the first in 14 years, using this event this season to go to do so. Dylan Fratelli, George Coetzee are the only other winners of this event teeing it up this week. So previously mentioned, Luis Oosthuizen designed. It was described as one of the finest new courses in the world at the time of its release, and even now it's only a few years old at this point. It is a one of a kind within the Indian Ocean, with his expertise of links being displayed this week. And at this golf course, it sits along the shores of Mauritius and is carved into the hills that sit along the south or close to the south of the coastline, and receive a much deserved spotlight this week. Along with Oosthuizen, Peter Matkovich helped design this golf course, and is the fourth different course to stage the Asia Bank Mauritius Open. The course was "quote unquote" inspired by the wonderful old links of Ireland and Scotland. Plays as a par 72 at 7,111 yards. Features undulating fairways, pop bunkers, and rolling pristine greens. So through all of this, the course offers a breathtaking panoramic view of the neighboring Indian Ocean. Jake, anything to add here about the golf course?
No, you covered it all.
All right. Kind of a linksy feel here in Murata, so we'll see what comes of that. But we did talk before this, Jake. We have 6 guys each. Some decent crossover this week, with including our first person here. So you were on him last week before I hopped on board. So how about you kick things off here, Jake, with our first pick?
Yeah, we're both on Eugenio Chikara. I got him at 28. I believe you have 25,
5, yes,
right?
sir.
Something like that. Okay, so mid to high 20s. Just played super well last week. I was on him last week. I'm not ready to give up on him. I think that there's still a ton of meat on the bone for this guy at this number. He is probably, in my opinion, the second best golfer talent-wise in this field behind Shapper, if not argued to be number one. So I think that 28 is a great number to take him on. This can be a challenging golf course, and I think that that's where Chikara can kind of thrive. I know I said that last week. It did not play like that, and it ended up almost working out in my favor anyway. But again, I'm going back to the well here. On the 2025 season, he was 69th in driving accuracy, 89th in driving distance, so overall solid driver of the golf ball. 91st in greens in regulation, 31st in putts per green in regulation, 45th in average putts per round, 152nd in sand saves, so obviously struggling there, but 40th in strokes average. So again, just a solid golfer, a premier talent on the tour. I think that the number is big enough. I'm not ready to take my finger off of the button with Chikara. And I know that you jumped on this week, so I'll let you add your 2 cents in here.
Yeah, so I built a card this week of a lot of long shots, some deeper guys in this field that I think have a legitimate chance. But Shakara, to me, like you mentioned, and we've talked about several times as a premier talent on the DP World Tour last season, especially this season with a lot of the, better guys, at least that we know of at this point, right, have made their way to the PGA Tour, leaving a kind of a void there. And, Shakara, Shapper, Kuvra, those type of guys will be kind of the cream of the crop, in my opinion, week in and week out. So we're here with at least two of those names I just talked about. And I think, Shakara has a legitimate chance. He had it last week, and it was just a weird event, right? You had some rain soaked on Friday that really, slowed things down to some huge numbers or low numbers, excuse me. Then we missed a day and then come back. It's hard to do that, right? You have a 36-hole lead, then you have to sit for darn near 36 hours before you tee it off again. It's darn near impossible to keep your pace and everything like that. So that's either here nor there at this point. I just think Shakar is a great talent. This field at 25 to 1 is a big number, and I would not be surprised come Sunday if he's lifting the trophy.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I hope so, Nate. Let's try to get a joint winner here.
Yeah, we've had two recently, so we can't stop now.
Yep.
All right. So speaking of joint winners, let's hope this next guy could possibly do it as well. Daniel Van Tonder, who, when it comes to South African golf, there's probably or very few people on the planet who play better South African golf than Daniel Van Tonder. So looking back to last season as a member of the Hotel Planner Tour, he won both the SDC Open and the My Golf Life Open, all in South Africa. Along the way, he also placed sixth at the Cell C Cape Town Open and sixth at the NTT Data Pro Am. Placed fifth at the Joburg Open, the DP World Tour last season as well. 14th last week at the Alfred Dunhill, 10th at the Nedbank, so some good starts already this season, again, in South Africa. He also placed 40th at this event in 2023 at this golf course. Currently first on tour in par 5. He's fourth in approach, fifth off the tee, 10th in sand saves, 34th in green regulations. He's 42nd in scrambling, 48th in accuracy, and 80th in putting. This is a guy who thrives on South African golf, knows how to play all these golf courses very well. This type of golf, and 65 to 1 is a huge number. And this is a great talent. This is a guy who really, it's not like he's a young up and comer who is looking to make his name here, but he's a guy who's been around for a bit, especially in the Hotel Planner Tour. And yeah, he's 34 years old. He's played a lot of golf, but had a fantastic season a year ago, to get back to a DP World Tour card. I just think that the veteran presence that he brings and just that pure success, I don't care what level of golf he's winning multiple times in South Africa. That's going to be reflective this week, and hopefully he takes down the tournament.
Yeah, this is personally probably my favorite play of the week just because of how well he plays South African golf, which you already mentioned, and also the current form that he's coming in with. The field is relatively weak, right? I got him at 55, you got him at 65. Those are some big numbers in a weak field for a guy who, generally speaking, dominates golf in this country. So I think there's a ton of meat on the bone. One of my favorite plays this week, Nate. I hope that, the last time I said this, we hit a joint winner. So I'm hoping that it happens again for Van Tonder this week.
Yeah, and we have another chance here. What's the next one here, Jake?
Yeah, so starting
So
it off with
boring
three
content so far,
crossovers.
guys. We apologize, but we'll get there to the differences.
Yeah, we're preaching to the choir and then we divvy up our long shots here. But together we're on Davis Bryant. I got him at 80. I believe you're on at 75.
Yes.
Playing just incredible golf as of recent. He qualified for the DP World Tour in the qualifying stage, then finished 14th in the BMW Australian PGA Championship and 12th at the Crown Australian Open. Again, not my favorite thing that he chose the Australian swing versus the South African swing with that form, but anyway, all things aside, at the number we got him at, 75 and 80, that's good for him coming in this week. He played this event last year where he made the cut, finished T42, which is nothing to write home about, but at the same time, a made cut coming in on some good form with a big number for the American playing on the DP World Tour was definitely something I'd like to see. He ranked 21st in driving accuracy last year, 39th in greens and regulation. Everything else was over 100th rank, so not great there, but he's hitting fairways and he's hitting greens and regulation. So if he gets some putts to fall, I really like Davis Bryant to be live this week.
Yeah, that's his game at this point, right? It's very accurate off the tee, scrambles rather well, and plays some tough golf courses to a good level. Last year in the Deep Peril Tour, he also had some decent results. He was 10th in Italy, 4th at BMW International, 13th at the Betfred British Masters. Some good quality performances there and some decent field, especially at the Betfred British Masters. Just a big number again for a guy who's live to win this week. Through the first start of the season, I know it's a small sample size, 2 or 3 tournaments for most of these guys, but man, he's fourth or second in scrambling, seventh in accuracy, 13th in sand save, 20th in putting, 33rd in green relations. He's and par fives, 42nd on approach. So he's playing some quality golf to start, and again, he's had some good performances in Australia. We can only hope that transitions here to South Africa along the way.
Yep.
All right, let's start to differentiate ourselves here, Jake. My first one being Stefano Mazzoli, 75 to 1, the same price as Davis Bryant there. But this was a guy who was very, very good at the or the Hotel Planner Tour season ago. He did not have a victory, but he had pretty much everything else. He had 3 top 5s, a runner performance at the Rolex Grand Final. You know, that's their equivalent to the end of the season championship. He also had 9 top 10 finishes along the way. He hasn't played since Australia, where he is 23rd at the Crown Australian Open, 25th at the BMW Australian PGA Championship. So far this season, he is 6th in green relations, 28th in approach, 33rd in scrambling, 36th in accuracy and putting, 58th in par 5, 61st off the tee, and 84th in sand saves. So again, this is a guy who, when it comes to these early tournaments, we're looking for these hotel planner guys who are recent promotees playing quality golf. And this is a guy who's fresh off a second place performance at, the biggest tournament that the hotel planner has to offer. Italy isn't the strongest, golf nation there is, but they have some decent players along the way. We've seen some very good ones, including along the way. So we'll see what comes for Mazzoli this week. But again, a big number for a guy who was second at the biggest event in the Hotel Planner Tour's schedule not that long ago.
Yeah, he made my short list to check out for long shots and just didn't make my card, but I love him. I love the play. I don't have much to add. It's like you said, Hotel Planet Tour guy, just it looks like he has some talent. Let's see what he can do on the DP World Tour and take your shot in a weaker field.
There we go.
My first long shot here is going to be Christian Burke. I got him at 90 to 1. He is a very popular long shot.
Yes.
Had a really good week last week, and that is exactly why. He finished T4 last week, the Alfred Dunhill Championship. He played on the Sunshine Tour, which is based in Africa, and he had a bunch of great finishes to close out the season. Um, in some good form, and to cap it all off, he played this event last year where he finished T5. Big number on a guy who looks to be in some solid form. He contended last week. He played some very good golf. I believe he went six, yeah, he had an opening round 63. He was tied with Chikara T1. Had a lackluster Friday 71 and then closed it out with a very solid Sunday of 67. If he has a different Friday round, this could be a different story here for Burke, but I think that he could put it together this week. He's proven that he can play in this tournament well and contend. So a very popular long shot, but I'm happy to take him again.
Yeah, I'm not going to act like I know a ton about Christian Burke here. I wasn't, I know a decent amount about the Hotel Planet Tour thanks to Andrew at All Tour Golf Bets along the way last season, followed every event along the way, but not much of a, Sunshine Tour dabbler myself, maybe here or there. But yeah, I mean, so far this season, he's looked the part, right? And he's had a good performance here a season ago, so can't doubt you there. All right, so my first of 2 rather long shots, we have Jonathan Broomhead at 130 to 1. Just love the name as well, Broomhead. Through his first 2 starts of the season, he was 33rd at the BMW PGA or Australian PGA and T23 at the Alfred Dunhill Championship. So he split his time between the two. Last season on the Sunshine Tour, he finished with a T36 at the Hyundai, missed the cut the blue label, and went T5 at the Fortress Invitational. He was a winner on the Sunshine Tour a season ago, winning the Sunbet Challenge. So for the season on the DP World Tour, 13th out of the sand, 22nd on approach and off the tee, 23rd in scrambling, 24th in putting, 38th in driving accuracy and par fives, and 40th in green relations. So some good stats with 2 made cuts to start the season, some proven results in um, Africa, including some South African events there I just listed about. But we're talking about these guys, 130 to 1 in this field is quite a reach. But yeah, I like the way that his stats are shaping so far this season. We'll see if he can, he's South African as well. Maybe this is another guy that can kind of sneak through the cracks and see what we can have on our hands come Sunday.
Yeah, Nate, we took a similar approach of just trying to find these, longer shot guys who in a weaker field have a shot, have played some South African golf and are in some decent form. So again, not much to add there. I like the call. Another guy I did take a look at, not as high as the other Italian guy whose name is eluding me right now,
Mazzoli.
but yes, Mazzoli, but did make my short list, did not make my card. I like the shout there. I think that again, I could see him contending this week without a doubt, but. Going into my next guy, another one who just played well last week. If that wasn't abundantly clear, that was a big criteria for me for some of these South African long shots that I'm taking a shot on, and it's Michael Holick. I believe I got him at 100 to 1. So again, a long shot here. He finished ninth last week and had a fourth of the Crown Australian Open the week before that. So again, an extended run, in my opinion, of some good form. Two top 10 finishes back to back. He's played this tournament twice, once last year and once in 2016, where he missed the cut in both. So again, not too great there, but he did play on the Sunshine Tour. He won twice last year. He's coming in on some good form. Not too much to add. Some highlights from his 2026 season, which was pretty limited, was 15th in driving accuracy, 9th in sand save, 17th in stroke average, and 13th in average putts per round. Also 23rd in putts per green in regulation. So a solid start to the season. I'm hoping he just keep his run of form and maybe find a win in South Africa where he's from.
Yep, another popular name. Some good
Yep.
results started the season, so I see where the angle is coming from. All right, I'm not gonna spend much time on my last play here. 400 to 1 Jack Buchanan, the Australian. So we're not even going with the South African favoritism here. Not much about him, but he was T18 at the Crown Australian Open, T48th at the BMW Australian PGA. On tour currently 13th in sand saves, 24th off the tee in accuracy, 27th in green relations. He's 29th in scrambling, 36th on approach, 42nd in par fives, and 81st in strokes gained putting. Beyond that, it's just a very big number for a guy who pops slightly in my model, and I'm like, if my model's showing me a number of 400 to 1, I might as well dabble in this. You know, what would be the worst feel in the world if I saw Jack Buchanan's name on my model? I'm like, I'm not going to do it this week. It's no worse. And then he goes on to win this event. I would not be able to sleep at night. So, got to include him. The model tells me there's some value there. So, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, can't fault you. 401 is huge in this field, and I felt similar about this guy. If I was just rattling off random South Africans who had a good finish last week, I couldn't leave this guy off my card. It's Samuel Simpson. He's a 23-year-old South African who finished T9 last week at the Alfred Dunhill Championship. Again, can't pretend to know too much about this guy. He played on the Sunshine Tour last year where he had one victory and a bunch of top 25 finishes. Just happy to see a good finish from him last week and at 250 to 1. Since I was rattling off the other two guys, I was like, might as well add him to the card because he also had a good finish and just hope to get lucky.
Again, I'm not going to beat you up on it or anything like that or add much information because there isn't much for me beyond a top 10 last week. So, we'll leave it at that. All right, guys. Well, that's it for our betting card for the AfrAsia Murata Bank. I always forget the bank in there. I always
Yeah.
go AfrAsia Muratas. There's a bank in there. Bank Muratas Open. Final event of the calendar year. We got some stuff planned, just some recap stuff, some preview stuff. We'll, chat PJ Tour, DP World Tour, and give some insight what we expect for the season and some names we like to monitor throughout the events coming up. But beyond that, we have maybe about the 15th. What's that? The 12th, 11th, somewhere around there will be the first kind of kickoff show for the PGA Tour season, along with the DP World Tour to really get things going. And once the Tour starts, it doesn't stop, and I'm excited about it. It's so much work each and every week, and it gets really daunting, and drags you down quite a bit. But beyond just the aspect of winning some money here or there, we just love golf so much and love the sport and just are pure fans of the sport. So just watching it is really what excites me, especially this time of year, right, where it's freezing outside, everything's frozen, negative temperatures, or snow, we can't do anything, and then just sit on my couch and we're watching, especially out of Hawaii, right? So it's 5 hours
Yeah.
behind, so it's nighttime, getting warm from the day. Maybe you walked home for work or commuted home for work or worked outside or whatever. Just kick it on. Kind of jealous of the guys teaming up in Hawaii, but you have some golf to watch into the evening hours. So I do love the aspect of things, especially even with the West Coast swing to start things. It's still cold here on the East Coast where Jake and I are from, and then we can watch golf into the evening hours as well as we warm ourselves up for the day. But it's all good and fun. We have a lot of stuff coming for you and hoping for the biggest year yet without the rough in 2026 and just keep growing, expanding. won't get too much sentimental here for you guys. But before we do hop off here, Jake, we're finding you on social media.
Yep, you can follow me on X at JakeOOTR, where I share all my outright betting cards. I'd also encourage you to join the Out of the Rough Discord. It's 100% free with no hidden paywalls. The community includes 250 plus members from passionate golfers to professional bettors, all contributing a lot of value in there and insight that makes it a great free resource to have at your fingertips. Just be sure to reach out to Nate or myself so we can get you the link to join that.
You can follow myself, Nate, on X at NateOOTR. Be sure to visit out or OOTRough.com for some more content from every tour you can think of each and every week and beyond. But yeah, for now, that's it. Until next time, we'll see you.